Chang here, and welcome to my channel. This is the skill building video series where we pick a skill and we practice it very well so that next time we see a similar problem we can solve it with ease. Let's begin. So for today's video we're going to be focused on simplifying algebraic expression, or more commonly known as combining like terms. Now these are not actually step by step, but these are important things that you need to pay attention to when you are combining like terms. The first thing is that when you're working on combining the different parts, focus on one specific part at a time. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, you're going to have expressions where you have x, xy, y, z, so on and so forth, and you start seeing things that can combine one to another and you jump around. That's not a good way to approach it. Take a look at one of them, let's just say x, and then focus on all the ones that share x and then just combine all of them first. Once you're done, then you move on to the next one. It could be y, then all the y's. If you're looking at xy, all the xy, so on and so forth. Don't jump around, you're going to make unnecessary mistakes that way. The second thing to pay attention to is the positive and negative sign in front of each and every one of those parts, right? It's so easy to ignore those signs so that when you are combining them, you're adding when you're actually not supposed to be adding and you're subtracting when you're not supposed to be subtracting. So pay special attention to those. The third thing is the one that actually causes the most common mistakes. Combining, especially when you're combining variables, combine them only if they're exactly the same. So for example, if you have 4x plus 6x, that's okay. If you have 4x plus 6x squared, that's not okay. Even though they have x, one of them is an x squared, one of them is an x. You can't combine them. And of course, with the standard number, 7 plus 4, that's okay. You can combine those. Well, let's practice. So for this first problem, we have 11y minus 6y minus 3y. This one we're lucky, it's fairly simple. Each and every one of them are a number and a y variable. So they're all exactly, I guess you could say, the same. They can be combined. So 11y minus 6y, so this is a negative, we got to pay attention to that, minus 3y, this is also a negative. So when we combine them all together, 11y minus 6y minus 3y is just 2y. So in this case, when we simplify it, the final answer is just 2y. So for the next problem, we have 8xy minus 3xy. Now, I picked this problem because it looks kind of scary, but it's actually, quite simple. You have your number and then the variable x and y. Notice that it's number, variable x, variable y. This one is number, variable x, variable y. So you can combine like terms. They're exactly the same kind of terms. So 8xy minus 3xy, in this case, is fairly simple. We have 8xy minus 3xy is just 5xy. Now, for this problem, even though it's fairly simple, this is an excellent example of tip number 3, where we want to focus on individual parts, and once we're done with it, then move on to the next one. What do I mean by that? Well, let's look at the first part. The first part is a number and a variable. In this case, the variable is x. So this is our first part. If we want to do combine like terms, let's just look for anything with just the number and variable x and nothing else. In this case, it's just this one and this one. So let's just mark it right here. We have 6x and we have 4x. And we combine them. That's 6x plus 4x, which is 10x. Now, we're done with all the ones with just x. Now we look at the other ones. Here we have 3, which is just a number. So we look for all the ones that's just a number. Let's just mark this one. This is just a number. Well, the next one that's just a number is this one. 2. So 3 plus 2 in this case is just 5. Now, even though it's fairly simple and you can see it right away, eventually you're going to see longer problems with a bunch of different things. So just taking it one step at a time, one part at a time, will save you a lot of stress. Now, for the remainder of this video, I'm going to limit myself and not provide any explanation. Hopefully you guys can follow along. Yes, the problem is going to be a little more complicated, but I honestly think you guys got this. Let's begin. Thank you so much for watching this video on simplifying algebraic expressions, or more commonly known as combined like terms. See you in the next video.